What's up? Good morning, guys. How we doing? We are live, and we're about 14 and a half minutes out here from the best time of the day, New York Open. You're looking at a 5-minute NQ chart. Man, let's see what we can put together here today. How we doing? Good morning. Good morning, man. Good to see you guys. I'm about ready to rock, I'll tell you what. All right. 4:15 out here from the close of this bar. Of course, I'm not super into putting trades on heading right into the open, but that's going to typically be on the bar closing 5 minutes out from New York and the bar closing into the open, of course. Could I take a scalp on this bar? Well, let's see, man. Let's see how it closes up. How we doing, guys? AB, what's up, brother? Gaines, how we doing? Mario? Peter, what's up? Hey, look at this bar. Looks like a huge bar. Not even 20 points of range. That's pre-market for you. So, market backing off here from 26,000 heading into the open. Curious to see if we retest that right after the bell. We're looking at the overnight right now. There you go. That's basically the entire overnight. Put in maybe 128 points of range during the overnight session. Actually, a little more. Include down here. All right, well, let's see how we open up here. Hopefully, now, if you guys remember yesterday, we saw a 100-point, actually 130-point in range opening 5-minute bar here on NQ. So let's hope we can get that again. ATR here coming into the open a little bit lower than it was yesterday, which I'll take as much ATR as we can get. That's the average range, right, of a 5-minute bar. So what's up with you guys? I'm sure some of you have a P&L posted already on the session, whether it's from overnight or this morning. How we doing? We green, red, what's up? Green, green 1500 on silver. Raptor says green. Last night trading RAM with other people in the Discord. Yeah, you know, I look at it. By the way, if you're not in the free Discord, go ahead and join. It's in the description, the link. Here, maybe I can drop it for you in the chat. There you go. Join that up. A whole bunch of free Discords are just a bunch of BS. I think just because the demographic of people who hang out around here are a little, how should we say it? More serious? I don't know, man. For whatever reason, it's not like I did anything. For whatever reason, my free Discord seems to be actually people are getting shit done. So go join that up, man. All right, 20 seconds out here from the close, which will leave us 10 minutes out from the opening bell. Tenzin says, buy the dip. How about you buy the dip and report back to us? Always good to take a few minutes, chill out a little bit here before the open. Not get too excitable. That's what the bell is for. YC says, yesterday blew my 5 Apex accounts. So, I'm sorry to hear that, brother, first of all. When you guys blow accounts, I guess I'm really curious. Like, what does this typically look like for you? Because a lot of people obviously come in, they're like, oh, I blew my accounts yesterday. So, on average, let's get an actual sample size. There's no ego. If you refuse to type something, I think you're either busy or a little bit egotistical. We've all blown accounts, obviously. Doesn't make it a negative ROI venture, of course. The ROI can still be stupid, and you can still blow some accounts every once in a while. It's part of the game. Now, when you guys blow accounts, what I mean is, what I'm asking you, is this emotional tilt, typically? Are you removing stop losses? Are you moving stop losses? Are you averaging down? Or is this genuinely, you're just taking a lot of trades with small size that you actually think that you have edge on, but it turns out maybe you don't have as much edge as you think, and it just dwindles away until it eventually clips you? I imagine for most of you guys, this is probably a psychology issue, right? Emotional tilt, size up and dollar cost average, over trading, emotional trading, letting losers run, sizing too big, tilting after losses, yeah, emotions. Blew my last accounts by trading 5 contracts on NQ instead of MNQ because I was on the wrong tab. All right. Over trading, revenge trading, yeah. Can I just tell you guys something? Man, I know that you know this, okay? But let me just tell you something. In my, 9 years of trading, you want to know something crazy that's really obvious and predictable, but maybe you need to hear? The only losses I even remember are the ones where I did really stupid shit and didn't follow my rules. Okay? I don't even remember any, basically, losses where I cut it when I knew I was supposed to cut it, when I sized myself appropriately, and when I followed my methodology. I don't remember any of them. I don't even care. Because it just leads to the predictable profit. Who gives a shit? The only losses I remember, and there's quite a few, by the way, are the ones where I lost everything twice in the markets, in the early years, of course, because I did really, really stupid shit. And I got emotional, and I lost the plot psychologically. Take that for what it is, man. When you're looking at it, actually, I just had this conversation with the Tomb. I think it was in last week's live training, which, by the way, we have one today, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. If you're not in the Tomb, the link is in the description. It's the first link. Go join up, and I'll see you guys this afternoon. Also, Tomb Talks every day. But I was talking to them about the thing that I had to kind of start telling myself years ago was, okay, look, it's not worth risking. Like, if you were presented this offer in real life, hey, would you rather take a small paper cut for certain? I'll give it to you right now. Small paper cut, it will absolutely happen to you. Or would you rather take a risk? You're like, well, what's the probability? It's up in the air. A risk of me hacking you in half with a dull axe. Which one? I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? I'll take that paper cut, homeboy. That's cutting your losers when you know you're supposed to. All of you guys are risking getting chopped in half with the dull axe. And by the way, this isn't like a 0.0001% probability. It's much higher than that because it's happened to you. All right, we are about 3 minutes out here from the opening bell. You know, I think part of the problem here, by the way, open in 2 minutes, man. We're excited. I think part of the problem here, honestly, is, and you know, it's kind of unfortunate because I wish people could sort of see like behind the curtain of the trading content on the internet, unfortunately, that gets a lot of views, I guess, is the ridiculous stuff. And I think it leads to these expectations that losing a trade means you're really, really bad at this. And that's unacceptable because everyone one-ups each other, and eventually you get to the point. This happens with everything, by the way. When people are talking about stocks, this happens with price targets. When people are talking about trading, this happens with win rate and reward to risk, individually and combined. And you end up with this weird expectation in the trading world that is so pretend and fucking laughable to me. And people come in and they really think that they're going to have a 96% win rate with a 3-to-1 reward to risk. It's like, if you took a second grade statistics course, would you fail it? Are we really at that point? This is insane. And it's self-serving because people post to get the views and I guess they don't care. They don't care. It makes people believe outlandish shit that they want to believe, and it fucking pisses me off so bad. But you know what? I guess let them do them. I believe in a free market. So you guys just need to look at this stuff and be like, you know what? It's okay to lose. It's okay to lose a lot. The point is to have edge. If you have edge, you will make money predictably. Just get the sample size up then. All right, there's the opening bell. There's the opening bell. You know, micro scalpers, man, if they take 100 trades a day, they will lose tens of trades every single day, and they're making a bunch of money. What's the fucking big deal? Everyone thinks losing one trade means you suck. God, grow up. It's like expecting to go to a casino, count cards, and never ever lose a hand. Or it's like expecting to play poker and just win every single tournament you look at for the rest of time. It's like, are there really rich poker players? Yep. And every one of them have tremendous amounts of loss stories. They're still super fucking rich, dude. Some of them. This is a game of math. All right. About 50-point range here on the opening bar. There we go. Expand that range. Come on now. Beautiful. I'd love to see this opening bar get to at least 100 points in range. Currently sitting a little over 60. All right, 215 out here from the close of bar number 1. There we go. Getting close. Beauty. 100-point range on the opening bar. Let's get that ATR up. I want to see volatility. I got to tell you, I'm a little bit concerned. Volatility heading into the open was a little lower than we've been seeing lately. So if we can get that ATR up, I would love it. Ideally, yeah, 40s would be good on a day like today. 50s would be better. I just don't want to ask too much. Currently sitting at 25. Obviously, first bar of the open. It's going to be artificially low. All right, there's the open of bar 2. Okay, 3.5 minutes out here from the close of Big Bar 2. Let's see what it brings me. All right, we're about 100 points lower since the open itself. All right, so bar 1 here is a little sloppy. Keep an eye on bar 2. Really, I have bar 3 in mind. Let's see what's up on 3. 60 seconds. I like what the volatility is doing to the ATR. Now we just got to hold it up. Volatility, that is. All right, there's the rollover into bar number 3. And this is the one that I'm watching here because I am not yet convinced that the bears are going to keep this baby pushing. So I want to see bar 3. And if bar 3 ends up closing as a nice, clean bear body, all of a sudden I'm convinced. Good, 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 good. All right. We're 2 minutes out, 2:15 from the close of bar 3. If I get a nice clean close, we shall see. You know, it's funny with, holy shit. Oh, goodness. Look at that thing go. Damn, range is about 117 points. All right, man. Well, I just messed with all my sizing in my copier. I hope it was worth it. I hope it was worth it. Let's see. Come on, Bears. Don't make me reset the entire copier. Yeah, that's a 15-second setup. But if the Bears take out the wick low of number 3, bar number 3 here in the first 15 seconds, then I want to be involved if they can do that. Say, Nico, that's 120 points. You're damn straight. That's why I sized down. Look at that. Insecure Bears. Okay. All right, let's see what bar 4 brings. Oh, what I was gonna tell you before that thing dumped off a cliff was, you know, it's kind of funny when we're sitting here watching. Trading is such an individual thing. You know, luckily we have this. This makes it better, right? When you're sitting in your office or your bedroom or your kitchen or at work, when you're supposed to be doing emails, and you're watching the candles move, sometimes it can kind of feel like you're the only one in the world who's actually paying attention to this. You know, I wonder how many actual human beings, not algos, how many human beings do you think are staring at this exact chart right now? Not the 5 minute, I mean NQ in particular. It might be less than 1 million. It might be less than 1 million, at least on this particular NQ chart. Now, if you include the Qs I would think it's a lot higher, right? But because people are watching their investment portfolio with the Qs and whatever else. But if we're talking NASDAQ futures on any time frame, I honestly, guys, I think it's less than you think. I think it's probably several 100,000. I would love if it was 10 million. That would be tremendous. And it might be in the millions. I might be, we all might be off. I hope it's in the millions. But, you know, honestly, if you told me an exact head count, you're like, it's 330,000. I'd probably believe you. I heard on a podcast or something that there were 50 million retail traders. If that's true, it could be a big number. Yeah, but you got to understand, when they count retail traders, they count people like us. We think, oh, they're all day trading NASDAQ futures. No, not at all. The retail trader count is just retail portfolios that have some sort of active activity in them. That could be they trade stocks twice a month, you know? So as far as NQ futures, humans watching the NQ, if we don't include QQQ, you know, and other NASDAQ variations, if we just look at the futures contract on any time frame, man, I'll tell you what, I don't think it's probably as high as we'd all like it to be yet as far as human watchers, but I will say, I think futures are finally kind of catching fire. You know, obviously futures were like very popular on the trading floors in the 80s, 90s. And they've always been a popular instrument among like hardcore traders. But I think it's finally, the value here is finally being recognized, at least online, which I love. I mean, listen, guys, futures are just a tremendously designed product. They're so well designed. They were designed to be used for trading and hedging. It's kind of it, right? So it's made very well for us. Stocks weren't designed. You know, not to say you can't trade stocks, of course. But you gotta understand, they weren't designed to be traded. They were designed to be bought and held. And, you know, people forget there's tax advantages to trading futures and personal accounts. That's a big deal. Don't overlook that part. Do you think more retail traders are trading futures or stocks? Stocks, 100%. Most retail traders are passive. They buy stocks, sell them 3 weeks later, and they're considered like an active retail trader, but like they're not traders really to us. We wouldn't think of them that way. But yeah, stocks, 100%. But I gotta tell you, I think futures traders, even if the amount of humans looking at this chart right now are a couple 100,000, which I have no idea, but I feel like that's a pretty good estimate, maybe. I don't know. It might be in the millions already. But there's really no data on this, by the way, as far as people watching. All that to say, if it's not in the millions yet, let me tell you something, it definitely will be in 5 years, 10 years, probably 10 years. Depending how low the number is right now, because futures are so well designed. I think a lot of traders, they come from stocks into futures and they're very pleasantly surprised it takes them some time to make the transition because let's be honest, futures are a little bit intimidating when you don't know what they are. It's like I'm gonna have to learn what the fuck's a tick, you know? Like people come in, they're like, I don't know what that means. It's a little bit, you're like, how do I trade them? What broker? I'll just stick to stocks. I get it. It's easy to do that for years until you're finally like, man, you look over at the futures party and everyone's having a good time. You're like, fuck, all right, I'll pop it in my head in and see what's up. And you're like, I should have came over here 5 years ago. So, you know, futures really are, I think, the best designed product for active traders. Plus, the market here is so deep that you're almost never going to really run into a ceiling in your trading, which is very, I think, comforting in the early years that you're learning something that you can really grow into really as much as you can and as much as you want to. Icon got my 2 fundeds activated this morning for free with code BIG. We love Take Profit Trader, man. By the way, Take Profit Trader right now with code BIG is 40% off and no activation fee, which saves you $130 off the rip with each account. All right, bar 5. We're 10 seconds out here from the rollover into the open of bar 6. All right, I might have something here on bar 6. DC, what's up, brother? How we doing? All right, 250 out here from the close of bar 6. Come on, Bears, keep that nice and clean. I like the way that's looking so far. ATR, baby! Haven't checked it in a few minutes. 48! What did I just say? I said, man, I'd love for it to be in the 50s, but I don't want to ask too much. Should always ask for as much as you can, man. I want 70! I want 200 on the ATR. Now this thing is I'm basically looking for any reason to get short right now, but it's got to be a good reason. It's I can't just hit it. Clean close out of 6, as long as it stays reasonable in its size here in about a minute 35. That would be a good reason. All right. I gotta take a peek here, man. I am sized down a bit. Place him. Oh, baby. Get everything out of the way. Get it out of the way. Become a real pain in the ass to get your stop where you want it when it's this volatile. All right. Gotta fill. Let's see if the Bears can get it done, man. Well, Bears, you got a whole lot more work to do than that. Whole lot more work to do. I think I'm about to give you guys a heart attack because I'm going to hold this thing. I want to see if I can get a full R. Nope, if I was just going for one ATR, I'd be out. But I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm leaving the risk on. I'm going to go for my full R, see if I can get it. Just because, man, this thing is moving. And to me right now, taking that full ATR, honestly, that would be an emotional decision just because the way conditions are sitting. ATR expanding. Let's see if the Bears can get the job done here. All right, there's the close of bar 7. Big old wick on 7. So let's watch 8. Nico caught 4 ram bars on the 1 minute chart, up over $7,300. Good work. Let's see if the Bears can give me a little present here on a Tuesday. I think I'm making people nervous, man. They're like, take it, take it. Nope, that's quite all right. 1R for me is 108 points. So if I can get my 1R, this will be a $13,600 trade. So let's see if we can get my 1R, man. Got a long ways to go, Bears. Man, if you haven't yet, hit the like button. What are you doing? We got about 40 points to go here. Whole lot of work to do out of the Bears. We're a minute 50 out. I'll see if I have to manage bar by bar, do any movement of my stop. I may have to here on the close of bar 8, so we'll see. We will see. ATR sitting at 58, by the way. Ridiculous. $40 seconds out here till the close of bar 8. Now, if bar 8 can close nice and clean beneath the wick low of 7, then I gotta move my stop. We'll see if they can do that. I'm not going to be able to move it, am I? Nope. Big ol' inside close. Oh, you bears. Bunch of babies. Take it down through. I want to see some confidence. Oh, you bears. Well, this trade is plus or minus 13,000, man. What do we think? What do we think? My data, I use Rhythmic for my Apex accounts, and I use Tradeovate for my Take Profit Trader accounts. But I think the actual chart data comes through Rhythmic. Come on, Bears, you little sons of guns. We got 30 more points. That's about a mile. All right, 55 seconds out here till the close of bar 9. We do have an ambulance on standby for the chat. In case anyone fucking loses their mind or has a heart attack. From me holding onto this thing, I need 1R. All right, there's the close of bar 9. Do you see this? Inside the wick low of 8. Inside the wick low of 8, which means I can't move my stop. Oh, you bears. Oh, you bears. All right, Bears. Do it to them. It's time. It's time. I want to see bull tears. All right, there's the open of bar 11. First bull body in a little while, huh? Oh, you bears, I don't have time for this. Let's fade this thing, huh? All right, bears. Not too bad. All right, now I don't want to see this turn into a big sideways single bar trade range. That would suck. All right, bears, take that baby through. All right, now my target here again is 1R, which is about 108 points. Okay, bears, keep that pushing. Damn close. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Let the copy trader flatten. Hold up, and we're flat. Holy shit. That was like 14,000 bucks. It's one of the bigger trades we've had on stream. I don't know, is it? Do we have a 15,000 one? I feel like we had a 15,000 one time. That's filthy. That is disgusting. All right, moving on. Wait, gotta update the trade count. Take profit, Nico. Take profit. Nope. Yeah, you're fucking right. Ram is the best. All right, there's the close of bar 11. Big outsized bar. Got to watch 12. Michael passed 3 accounts with this push. Good work. I'm glad nobody needed the ambulance. We'll keep them on standby just in case. But you guys can stomach bigger P&Ls around here, man. Come on now. Yeah, the market might need the ambulance. Jesus, we're down 400 points. At least were since the open. Wait, 500 points. Jeez. Man, if you guys didn't, I don't know what else I can do to get you to press like on the stream. One trade, 14,000 bucks. Max, I'm up 11,300 on 29 accounts since yesterday. Getting ready for my first withdrawal for 10K. See, we have a problem around here now. We've created a problem with RAM with all you guys in the stream. It's like, what are you gonna do with all the fucking money? You know, you're bored. There's not enough to spend it on. Oh, man. What a filthy morning. DB says Nico doesn't even seem real. I can't believe this is what I do for a living. Believe it, big dog. All right, you see bar 12, big old bull body kind of engulfing that that whole bar 11. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Is the market trying to find a bottom here, or are we heading down another 500 points? You remember when I've always said, and some of you were like, yeah, I don't know, man. Remember when I've always said that the best way to get back on track, if the market's not moving, is to just have that thing tank? Exhibit A. Here we go. When does Apex 90% off end? We've got a little over 1 day left. So yeah, Apex is currently 90% off single day pass with code BIG. BIG. The link is in the chat if you need some accounts. What a beautiful morning, man. We love it. That trade had us in the money for like 90% of the entire hold period. Look at the ATR. Holy shit. The ATR is 65. That's crazy. That is something else. Well, we may. I gotta tell you, we might enter a little trading range here. So I sure hope a whole bunch of you guys booked up some big green because, you know, again, I hope we see another 500-point move, but the market, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if we see this turn into at least a temporary single bar trading range. Yeah, Roy, I did say that. I did say I would love for ATR to be in the 70s. I was joking pre-market when I said I want to see it in the 50s. And here we are in the 60s. This is why you gotta show up every day, man. Even when pre-market, you know how many people probably saw pre-market this morning? We're like, I'm not wasting my fucking time today. ATR is like 17. And they go golfing. You gotta show up. All right, we have more work to do here. I'll be right back. Couple of minutes. Don't you go anywhere. right, we're back. We're back. See, now you gotta wonder, am I gonna jump scare ya? What's up? Alright, bar 14, minute 35. Let's see, what did I tell you? What did I tell you? Single bar trading range. Alright, let's see what we end up with here. The Dow didn't even drop? I haven't even looked at it. Holy shit. Huh. Well, that's YM. Back to NQ here. All right, ATR on NQ is 68. We're in a single bar sideways trading range. Really a wedge. Now, which direction does this go from here? I gotta tell you, it's probably about 52.48. I'd say about 52% it continues lower, 48% we just fade right back in, which I would call basically 50-50. Which means we gotta wait and see. Here comes the rollover into bar 15. Alright, question here about the tomb. Yeah, just click the first link in the description. All the information that you'll need is on that page. I'm doing a live training here today. Every live training gets archived. There is currently, before today, there is 16 hours of RAM trainings. And then there is basically another double of that in Tomb Talks, which are basically additional trainings. They're member Q&A and rants that I do for educational purposes every day, just for Tomb members. There's a stupid amount of content in there. It's only been up for a few months. The amount of content in there is only going to continue to explode, which is not meant to be intimidating, by the way. It's meant to be helpful. So I would probably get in there sooner rather than later if you plan on it. Otherwise, you might be overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that's in there. But it's all laid out. Training 1 through, I believe there's 16. I think today's number 17. Every one is 1 hour long. And then, of course, all the Tomb Talks. Raptor says, I can tell you, in 3 months of being in the tomb, I went from burning accounts to 17 fully fundeds. Good work. Good work. I've really had only positive feedback, so I think people are... Because, you know, listen, you gotta understand, I didn't build RAM for you. I built RAM for me. Okay? And RAM was like one of the only things that really, really produced consistent results for me. Now, you're still gonna have to put in the work, and you're still gonna have to brute force the discipline. I'm very clear about this. But, you know, that's the thing. It's like, if it worked for me, then I truly believe in it. Which is why I'm sharing it with you. I did not build it for you. This was for me, big dog. But I gotta tell you, I needed help when I started, and there really wasn't much. There was not much. And to be honest with you, my ego was probably too big to take it, even if there was. Alright, bar 15, rolling over here, 50 seconds. Alright, those of you guys asking, the link to join the tomb is in the chat. It's also the first link in the description. Again, that live training I do every week with you guys. That's today at 3 o'clock Eastern. Alright, enough of that, man. We have bar 16 opening up. We're still in this little single bar sideways range. Ooh, potential YM stop hunt. All right, I'll take a look. I will take a look. Oops, that's gold. There we go, there's YM. Okay, 15 closed is the first bar to close, just barely outside the wick low of 9. So yeah, I'll watch YM here. I would need bar 16 to close nice and clean as a moderate, at least, bear body, with room to the wick low of bar number 1 on YM. So we'll keep an eye on that. But I'm back on NQ here in the meantime. About 4 minutes till the close of bar 16. Talk about a kill-off in volatility. I mean, I don't want to say a kill-off in volatility, but look at this. Look at this. This is something else. All right, minute 50 out here. Let's see if 16. Well, first of all, let me back up. You guys see this? You get a big tank off, sideways trading range, not uncommon, single bar trading range around the 5 minute. Markets, when they reverse, people like to say V-shaped recovery. Real V-shaped recoveries don't really happen usually. Usually it's like I don't know, like a U. Usually you get some kind of trading range before a meaningful reverse of direction. Okay? But, I gotta tell you, this is still about 52-48 probability-wise. We could just continue lower and fade, which is why right now I am flat. So keep an eye on 16 here. Now, you guys know the beauty. Some of you guys might not understand this yet. Other you guys are like, yeah, I'm doing it. So just so you understand that on that trade, the money that I made in the Take Profit Pro accounts, I can literally request tonight. Okay? You can't do that like with Apex, for example. All right, in Apex, you have to trade the minimum 8 trading days. 5 of those days at least have to be green days of at least $50 in per account, right? With Take Profit, once you're over the buffer in your pro accounts, you make money, it updates that night. You can request to withdraw it that night. Daily payouts. So if you're trying to go full time, dude, especially if you're like, okay, if this is you, I'm gonna explain something, and then you, if you're like that, well, yeah, that's me. If your expenses are pretty reasonable in your life, and you think that you do have meaningful positive expected value in the market because you're trading a logical methodology and you're disciplined, that's really big leverage. You invest into prop accounts, take daily payouts at one like Take Profit Trader, get on your feet, maybe you even go full time or start pulling back at work, and then you start making the numbers bigger at other props like Apex or whatever you want. And then you're actually full time. But to go full time, you need money coming into the bank, right? That's a really cool thing at Take Profit. I love it. All right, so we've got bar 17 here trying to pull up outside of that trade range, kind of coming into the 20 EMA here, not too far away. Have prop firms always been around before the day trade boom in COVID? Yeah, what a lot of people don't understand is, like, prop firms, as we think of them today, this is kind of like the new age. Prop shops, like brick and mortar prop shops, you used to go to a building, believe it or not. You had to leave your fucking house, which is bizarre. Like, who does that? You had to leave your house each day, go into trade. They would bring you on the desk. It was different depending on what prop shop. You would somehow get a spot on the desk, and you would trade their money, and you would have a risk manager who would approve or not approve trades that you would want to put on based on usually your performance, how much they trust you, how much revenue you're actually generating for the firm, etc. And you'd be surrounded by other traders, and you would sit there with a headset on and trade. That's the original prop firm, brick and mortar prop shop, right? Well, today we don't even have to leave. We don't have to talk to anybody. Nico, what's your approach on Take Profit Trader before and after reaching the buffer? Do you use the same size? Yeah, I pretty much trade. You know what I do on Take Profit Trader more often than not? I trade the same size as I plan to trade after the buffer. I put the Take Profit Pro in the copy trader. I trade the same size. And then I just kind of forget about it. I trade it with my trades. And then what I do is eventually I'll check on the account and be like, oh shit, I'm above the buffer. Don't if you're watching it too much and you're trading, one Take Profit Pro with the intention of just getting it over the buffer today so you can start taking daily payouts, it goes faster than you think. You'll trade for a few days, maybe a week or two, or maybe 3, I don't know. Probably a week if you're trading well. And all of a sudden you'll look up and you're over the buffer. You're like, oh, sweet. Just throw it in the copier, forget about it, trade the same size. I don't know. I don't really size up any meaningful amount to get it over the buffer. Nico, are you able to copy trade across multiple firms? I'm looking to add to my accounts. I'm full on Apex. So, just to cover myself, depending what firm you're talking about, I would check with their rules. Yeah, I trade Apex and Take Profit at the same time with the Affordable Indicators copy trader. They don't care. In fact, what's interesting is I talked to Apex once, and they told me they're like they wanted me to be trading other firms as well. So no, Apex doesn't care. But if you're trading some weird prop firm that I don't know of, then I would probably check with them. But I've had zero problems with Apex or Take Profit Trader trading them together. ATR still sitting pretty high, 64. All right, market trying to melt kind of back inside of this big morning move here. Let's see if they can get anything done. Coming into the 20 EMA, about 35 points away, 40 points away. I feel like we have more than ever. Quite a few of the regulars aren't here today for whatever reason, but how many of you guys in the chat, come on, I want to hear it. How many of you guys are doing this full time, even if it's only been a short period of time? How many of you guys are trading full time, or even if you still are working, how many of you guys are at least paying let's say half or more of your bills or a reasonable amount of your bills with trading. Big E, full-time. DB, full-time. AB, full-time. Mr. Medic, full-time. Lee, full-time. Oh, Jesus. Holy shit. We got more than I thought, man. Whole bunch of you guys. That's crazy. That's really good to see. The dream is alive. Believe it. Goose says, I tried to get a job for a year after being laid off and just decided to go for it. That's the way to do it, big dog. That's what I believe in. Take your world into your own hands. Say it's sink or swim, baby. You know what I find is that most people, well, at least people with a deep-rooted kind of entrepreneurial spirit, most people swim when given that option. Even if it takes them a little while, they learn to swim. When it's truly sink or swim, and you're like, I don't have a job, I can't get a job, no one's hiring, or at least not for the amount that I need. All right, homeboy, let's go. Most people usually end up making it work, even if it takes a few years. ATR holding up, still sitting 62. Here on the ATR, that's the average true range. You're looking at a 5-minute NQ chart. That's NASDAQ futures, by the way. Trying to fade kind of back inside this morning move. So far for me, one trade, I shorted the close of bar 6. Good little trade. All right, bear's trying to take us back inside. I'm curious to see if this just becomes a big old range. You know, obviously there's a lot of options right now. We may see the bulls try this kind of thing. But to be fair, if the bears step in, this flat bottom, the bears take out the wick low of 12, all of a sudden you've got a nice big bear channel again. It's all possible here, which is why when that's the case, I prefer to draw it like that. Because that just reminds me, okay, sideways trading range, wait for something to happen, then hit it. Remember, don't cannibalize your good trades by taking bad stuff to keep yourself entertained. All right, there's the open of bar 20. All right, so I asked you guys who is full-time or part-time so far. Honestly, more than I thought. Now, how many of you guys, by the way, I don't want to see any shame in this. You know, it's not like we were all born trading full-time. It fucking took work to get here, man. It took me longer than I'd like to admit, you know? A couple of years. Well, actually years. So, how many of you guys are not there yet, but feel like you're making progress? You know, honestly, how many of you guys even have that as a goal? Have we even thought about this? Because honestly, what I come across a lot of times is people are like, no, I just like trading, and you know, I can't, it's not like I can do it full time. Why? Why? Do you want to do it full time? If the answer is yes, then you can do it full time. I don't understand why you would think that you can't. Yeah, I mean, listen, guys, it shouldn't have to take this long. But I see some of you guys saying, you've been at it for a couple of years, still struggling. Listen, it shouldn't take you this long, okay? If you really grit your teeth and do the work. But I've heard plenty of stories of people who started trading late in life. Well, I should say later in life than the internet is perceiving today, where everyone starts when they're 18. I did start when I was 18, but that's beside the point. I've heard plenty of stories where people start when they're 42, they lose money for 10 years. And then they go full time. Like, the light is never gone, dude. Just brute force discipline for a couple of weeks to retrain your brain to get dopamine from doing the right thing, following the plan when most people can't, rather than doing what most people do, which is gamble. And then boom, you have more discipline than you previously had. And then make sure you're following some sort of logical methodology. Don't cannibalize your good trades with garbage, and you're on your way. All right, bar 21 here, trying to make a move downside. All right, guys. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm one trade in. 14,000. Nice Tuesday morning here. I am going to go hit lunch because we are right now in a little sideways trading range, and that's the best use of my time currently is to go hit a meal. So I'll tell you what, guys. Hit like on the way out. Remember, Apex 90% off, single day pass, code BIG, B-I-G. That ends here in less than 48 hours. You have like a little over 24 hours to hit that. Take Profit Trader is 40% off, and if you use code BIG when you sign up, you won't pay an activation fee when you pass, which is $130 per account. That gets wiped out. All right, guys? All right! Nice day here so far. Hang out. Wait for it to come to you. Let the market do something. We're in a range right now, dude. ATR is big. It's 59. This thing can eat up all your morning profits if you're taking garbage and you cannibalize the good. Don't do that. But if good returns here in the afternoon, man, gotta hit it. No fear. But wait for it to come to you. All right, guys. Hit like on the way out. I'll see you tomorrow.